coming to you from Weddings and Honeymoons magazine. We are doing our Celebrant podcast series, and today we have the lovely Gemma with us from North East Celebrant. You can find her on all the good places, Instagram, everywhere, at North East Celebrant.
So hi, my name is Gemma Jay, aka North East Celebrant. So I started my Celebrant journey. It was more a continuation of my career rather than actually a career change. So obviously you know, but obviously people listening don't know. I started off as a wedding event coordinator, worked in venues, and I did my first wedding back in 2009 and realised that actually, I want to try and do this and dabble, and it was all fun. So yes, I was a very logistical child. I always things were black and white. I'm not very creative, so I can't make things pretty. I'll leave those to the decor people. I'm not one to match colours, but if there's a crisis, if there's something that needs doing, I'm on it. I'm one of those. I'm father's an army guy, so very much military background, very much regimented, A to Z, black and white.
So you were always fine getting up and talking in front of people and anything like that?
Yeah, so it became second nature. But obviously for me, when I was working in venues, coordinating and things, you get to a point where there's the work-life balance isn't quite there.
No, I
know. You're probably in the midst of it at the minute. So it's very much a case of, the early starts, the late nights, the balance, the weekends, non-stop. And I kind of wanted to get out, but didn't know how to get out.
But still wanted to
because I moved over to corporate events, so I did wedding and corporate events. Moved into corporate events, but I just had that pull for weddings. It was just something in me to be part of that day. Doing conferences and dinners were great, but it just didn't give you the buzz. So I went and helped a friend who was running a venue at a time, and it was actually a celebrant that appeared one day for a ceremony. So this couple got married in Mexico, and they had an evening booked at the venue, but they then had the celebrant come and do this ceremony. This was back in 2017, 2018 time. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Because I had dabbled looking at becoming a registrar. So I kind of thought, I want to be part of that day, this, that and the other. The ceremony part, because it's being part of that planning, it's still being part of all those bits and bobs, but it's getting to the point of going home at a reasonable hour. Essentially. I'm putting my feet up with a glass of wine.
But you're still part of the emotional bit and all the lovely stuff, the part that actually makes it a wedding.
So, and I think from just jumping back from when I was working in venues, and I used to stand at the back of the room and do the music and this, that and the other.
And have a cry at the back of the room.
Very rarely with registrars.
Wait, I was going to say with registrars.
That's it, because it was very regimented, it was very formal, and couples used to just want the ceremony bit over with as quickly as possible. And to me, that's actually heartbreaking, because I kept saying that is the whole point if ever be there. Otherwise, you're just paying for a very glorified party.
Yeah, it's a big party.
A very big party, very expensive party, but there was no emotion attached to the day, and they just wanted that ceremony over with as quickly as possible. And even on the wedding day, you would always often see brides with their shoulders up to their ears, and as they walk back up the aisle, their shoulders dropped. And they
tick the box, it's done.
Now the party starts. And I'm like, that's heartbreaking to me, because the party should start in the ceremony.
And I think also the guests forget that they're not just there for a party. Sometimes they come along thinking, I wonder what we're eating, I wonder what time dancing starts, and they forget to think about, no, there's actually a celebration of the couple, and that's the ceremony bit. That's how we bring it in the most.
That's it. But so many guests were used to switching off to that point there and kind of just not really listening or paying attention.
Sit for half an hour. Wait until the drink reception. Yeah,
exactly. It's always the same. So I looked at going, and I'd witnessed some amazing registrars, but I'd also witnessed some not so amazing registrars that mispronounced names, called same-sex couples Mr. and Mrs. The bride and groom, and not being inclusive at all, and it was heartbreaking to see. So I kind of went, I think I can do a better job at this. So I actually tried to become a registrar first of all. So did a couple of ceremonies with friends and family in 2018. Did my training with the Fellowship of Professional Celebrants in 2019, and since then it's just got better and better. I can't. I'm very, very fortunate that I get to call this my job, and I think I'm one of these. I only do weddings, so a lot of celebrants tend to dabble in both funerals and weddings, and I think that'd be really quite hard to market, because how do you market to two very different
Instagram pages?
Exactly. It's great because I do get to be. It's the best job in the world. I'm not going to lie, because you get to be part of still part of that planning process. I'm still got WhatsApp chats with my couples.
Yeah.
I'm still there for the drama and for the goss and the tea
all the gossip,
and all that. But at the same time, once drinks reception's done and things, I go home. I'm home at a reasonable hour generally, and I can just enjoy the process with them, but not be tight moving chair sashes and tables and things. And
but you were part of like the main bit of the wedding day,
Yeah, and the thing is, I think for me, so from coming into it, one of my kind of mantras, or one thing I've always been keen in this industry, is transparency for the couple. Even when I worked in venues, it was very much a case of, I want the couple to have the best day ever.
Yeah.
What my thoughts, my feelings, my input, my beliefs are, doesn't even come into play. It's what the couple want. Yeah. It's all about them, regardless of what that is, and I'm sure we'll touch onto it. So regardless of what I wear, what I do, how I'm acting, how I'm delivering a ceremony, is very much down to the couple.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
It is all about them.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of couples always ask the question, well, what are we supposed to do? What does everybody else do? What we're meant to do? And I'm like, what do you want to do? It's about you guys, so don't think about that. I know,
and I get that. I often get that, can you send me an example of a script?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, no, because that is then planting a seed in your brain to what you should do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is the fun thing, is we get to go together. Coffee, cake, whatever it is, we sit down and we hash out the best plan and the best ceremony, whatever that could be, for them. So, sometimes when I'm talking to couples at wedding fairs and things, it's very much a case of, I'll almost open Pandora's box and go, you can literally do anything you want. I mean, you've seen me. I've done Star Trek, I've done cosplay, I've done themed weddings. I've done a lot. I'm willing to do anything.
Anything and everything. Within reason.
As long as it's legal, basically, is my line. And as long as the venues are happy, I'll do it.
So have you ever had to say no to a couple and say we're not doing that, or anything crazy where they've been like, we're going to get married in the middle of the ocean on a paddleboard, and you're like, sort of, right, calm down, guys.
Because again,
the sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit, but I think it sometimes scares couples because people are dabbling into this whole kind of celebrant scene. It's a new thing, it's a modern thing.
New,
But you need to remember is there's a huge surge of celebrants, which is absolutely fantastic. But we're still such a tiny percentage of the wedding market. I was talking to a wedding fair organizer, and when you do all these fairs, photographers are always, you can't move for photographers.
Yeah, no, so many.
She said celebrants are now the second most requested tables.
Really? Wow.
And I'm like, and I get that, and that's fine, and the more the merrier. I'm absolutely happy to have as many celebrants there, because we are all individuals. And it was great, we all knew each other and we got on really well, and we still do. So meeting some this Thursday for coffee. Because we've got a great support network. We're there to help each other, to help the couple to do what they want to do. And it's very much a case of those coming into it. And I think one of my USPs when I talk to couples is it's very much a case of my wedding background and my past. I can help them, I can guide them, because I know what's going on, I know where we're going from there. And it's just making sure that they are right, they are happy, and they get what they want. And they walk away and their guests kind of go, oh my God, that was so them.
That was so
them.
Yeah. I remember you saying that to me before, and saying like that when they look at that bit, they should be like, that was so them. Yeah. Like, that was so personal to them, about them, which is great. It's not just like another ceremony.
Absolutely, and then touching back on obviously what we're saying, yes, I've done some crazy ones, but again, that's a tiny percentage. But I think it's opening Pandora's box and saying to couples, you can do anything you want, absolutely anything you want, but still I would say 96-98% of my weddings are still quite traditional.
You think,
Yeah, because they're traditional in the format, traditional in the way they run, and there's very few that will actually go full on cosplay themed things. And I think, for me, that's because we're in a little bit of a cusp. Because I think you've still got the grandparents who are very traditional. I think give it another generation,
it's going to change drastically.
But there's still a lot of people, and I know we all kind of go, it's your wedding, you do it your way, whatever you need to do. But I do feel that we've still got a lot of couples that are almost going, actually, we want to keep Nana happy a little bit.
Yeah, I think weddings they do have a lot of tradition, and marriage is like a very traditional thing. So I think people still want that, if they're looking to get married, they're still wanting that security, and if it comes a marriage, the tradition, it is a formal thing. So they've got that little part of it, but it doesn't have to be so serious and so choose from A, B or C, what do you want your vows to be. It's actually about them and the couple, their journey, how they met, all that sort of stuff that you can actually include in that when you write the ceremony with them, can't you? So it's great.
Yeah, and it is, and it's finding that happy balance. And I always say to couples, when couples meet me and want to start, and they start going off on the crazy journey of going, we want to include X, Y, and Z. I'm like, I'm all for it, let's do this. And then you see throughout the planning stages, they start stepping back and withdrawing slightly. And I talk them through their options, and I go, if that's what you want to do, to appease that person, absolutely, but let's still put your stamp on it.
Yeah.
And those that they kind of do push the boundary a little bit, I just take the grandparents under my wing. I shower them with extra love on the day. And in all the years I've done this, the grandparents are the ones that come up to after me and go, "You pet, that was lovely. That was lovely. That was so them. It was so nice." And it's just reconditioning our brain. I think we're very British, obviously, where it's a case of stiff upper lip, very top hat and tails, but that time is gone. We've moved on, and we are getting there. So I do think, give it another couple of years, there's going to be some crazy stuff.
But for anyone who's worrying about like keeping grandparents and stuff happy, you can attest to the fact that they absolutely love it. Regardless.
Yeah, that's it, because all they want is for their grandchildren and for their family to be happy.
Yeah. So, Gemma, let's get into it, because we all know the main question that everyone asks a celebrant, and it is, what is a wedding celebrant, and how is it different to a registrar? Like, is it not just the same thing? So let's talk about that one, because I think that's what people maybe don't know at home.
So there are two ways to legally get married in England, and obviously I'm talking from an English perspective here for anyone watching that. So it's a church wedding or civil ceremony with the registrar.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, you used to go to the registry office, do it there, and then you go off to the club or whatever and have your
the local pub,
exactly, and do
with
it
a
there.
buffet.
Whereas now, obviously, registration services can come out to your venue and legally marry you at the venue.
To the wedding venue, yeah.
So that's it. And that varies. So what you need to remember is every single council, every single registrar is different.
Yeah.
Has different fees, have different rules essentially, which they shouldn't, and I'll touch on, but it's a case of you need to check in with your local one.
Yeah.
It's no good going onto a Facebook group or something and going, what's the answer to this?
Yeah.
Because when it comes to those sub questions and the costs and things involved, you need to look on your council website.
Yeah.
So if you're going the more common route with registrar, you would then reach out to the registration service in the district where you're getting married.
Yes.
And that is the venue, that is the registrar that's going to come out and legally marry you on that day. So that's the one you need to check, has that date, has that availability.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say with you before, mentioning you need to check in, like, the different registrars are all different. Some people might be getting married not in their local district, so they might check with their local registrars and then they go to the venue, which is in a different area, and the rules are completely different, the pricing's different, things like that. So yeah, it's like you said, checking with the area where your venue is the way to do it.
Yeah, and the registration services, there's now some starting to call one of them a celebrant. So, when the registrars go out, there's two of them. There's the superintendent who's overseeing the legal element, and one of them is delivering the ceremony. There are now some registration services that are calling that individual a celebrant.
The person who stands
The person who stands up there. So, and hey, do what you need to do, but you're deceiving couples, is my honest opinion. It gets muddied waters. It's just tell people what the facts, what they want to do.
So if a couple were looking for a wedding celebrant, what would you say that they should be asking them, or like what they should be looking for in their celebrant?
So I think obviously it is very much a case of, like all wedding suppliers and vendors, you need to find somebody that works well with you and fits your vibe. It's not a case of just, you've got to probably go with your heart over budget.
Yeah,
because don't get us wrong, there's celebrants out there that are a lot more expensive than me, a lot more cheaper than me. I'm probably middle of the road. But if you're going for budget, absolutely fine, I get it. But do a little bit of research on them, because I think we all have different skill sets, we all have different backgrounds. So again, are you wanting somebody like myself that comes from a wedding background, because essentially you've got another pair of hands should anything happen on the day to help facilitate whatever
any
it needs
dramas,
to be. Any dramas, or you get a celebrant who is there literally and just performs a celebrant role and kind of goes and won't fluff your dress and won't kind of make sure you look camera ready and perfect for the day, because not everybody does that. And I think find out their process. I know that sort of my process wise, and again, as I say, everyone's different. I can't comment on the celebrant's process. Generally, I kind of do at least a phone call or a Zoom or a FaceTime or something. Send them out questionnaires, get to know a little bit about what they've seen, what they envisage, what they think they want their ceremony to look like. from what, because again, you go down a rabbit hole, don't you, with social media and all the trends that are on there.
What you
kind of go, what you should do, and I kind of go, I've seen this, or actually I really want to involve all my guests, or all my grandparents, and things like that. And then I send a questionnaire about getting to know them a little bit, so how they met, qualities they love about each other, hopes for the future, describe the proposal, so you kind of get to know a little bit about their journey. And then we get together and we just hash it all out and kind of go, right, talk me through your vision. So I basically say, if I had a magic wand and I could wave it, tell me your dream ceremony. How would it look? And they kind of just go off and going, actually everyone's laughing, people have got a drink, and then from what I've seen, what they've written about their likes and their loves and their passions, I go, well, have you considered this? Or did they meet over a cocktail? So let's do some cocktail mixing in the ceremony. The thing is, because everything coming together is unity and union, so let's mix a cocktail. Do loads of those, they're great. And then you can have it as a reception drink. Toast it and away you go.
Yeah, have a sign at the drink reception with that cocktail on.
Exactly. And I always say, find out what the bar do first and try and work with them, because otherwise you really throw the staff. Really throw the staff.
The menus are going to hate you.
I know. Just find out what's on the menu and then just rename it. And things there. So it's finding what comes together and ask your celebrant for either referrals or chats past couples. Obviously, I have testimonials. I use most of them on Google rather than other platforms. But I have couples that are happy for you to reach out to. So if you want to speak to any of my couples, absolutely, I can give you details of my couples.
That says a lot about you that they're willing to do that for you.
Yeah, really absolutely. Nice. And it's great. I love them so much. But it's great because I get that buzz. Every wedding that I do still makes me giddy.
Yeah.
I'm like on a high afterwards.
Well, we were talking about this before when we were saying like everyone always asks you what's your favourite wedding, but I
can't.
They're not just clients, you fall in love with them. That's what it is about the wedding industry, isn't it?
I cry at vows.
Are you still crying? Are you ceremonies, do you?
Not all of them, but just some of them, because some of them are really heartfelt. And I know we haven't really touched on vows, but helping couples to really convey their words into what they want, and whether that's something subtle that they want to do just in front of their guests, and we can say, after you've walked out, they go and spend 5 minutes and they do personal promises to each other.
That's so
which
sweet,
is sweet, because it gives them that 5 minutes, because they'll whisk away for the rest of the day and they lose the day. So while everyone's lined up for confetti shot or do this, and they're standing there anyway having a drink in a separate room, spend that 5 minutes doing your personal promises. And then we can touch on it, and you can still do I do's or little ones in the ceremony if you don't want to. But again, some people are more than happy telling the world everything in front of all the guests, absolutely. Because again, it's picking and choosing what you want to do.
They can do it however they want. I love that. That's so good. Well, I was going to ask you as well, if you had to do a wedding to someone, your dream wedding that you could be the celebrant for, it could be anyone, so past, present, fictional. Who would you want to marry?
Everyone and everyone. I'll try to do everyone's wedding. I think maybe it's just because it's a bit on trend at the minute, but how amazing would it have been if I could have done Ozzy and Sharon's wedding?
Oh my god, yeah.
That would have been immense.
Wow. Now they would have personalised the hell out of their wedding.
Amazing.
If you want to look at a couple like that and think like, oh, that's so them. That's the way that you do it, isn't it?
Imagine the things I could be wearing for that ceremony.
I know. They'd definitely be doing a cocktail or two.
But that's it. That's the great thing, is when I'm sitting working with couples, it's a case of going, what do you want me to wear? What do I think? Obviously, sage green's huge at the minute, so you've probably seen my sage green star dress that's in most photos because it's on trend. But then people go, actually, we want you wearing something a bit darker or a bit. I just want to compliment them.
Full black rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Martens and whatever it needs to be.
That would have been so much fun, that wedding, for sure.
It would have been.
And also, something else that I think I like to ask celebrants is, what do you think about unplugged ceremonies? Do you think phones are modern and everyone should just be able to have them? Or do you think, no, it's good to tuck them away for a little bit and have that moment?
I think it's finding the balance, because the couple, obviously, depending on what they do and how they live their life, when they live life on, I know some couples that just go, actually, we're not on social media, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. But then some people don't want that whole, they're spending money on a photographer and videographer and content creator and all these things why have somebody sit there? So for me, it's very much a happy balance. The majority of my ceremonies, they do ask for unplugged.
Yeah.
So most of my ceremonies, and then it sets the tone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because all your guests are not expecting it. So I basically go, right, folks, you can go phones away for walking down the aisle. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'll tell you the best time to get in this position. And I did one recently where I actually said, you know, commando roll into the aisle. Somebody did. Proper, and they were like, oh, that was me uncle something, he was in the military. But I've known in the times I've said commando roll down the aisle, that's the first time anyone's actually commando roll down the aisle. Because I'm like, get into the right view, get into the pictures you want, and you get 30 seconds to go absolutely crazy. And it helps if the couple are up for it rather than just standing there, and you can get your bridesmaids and your grooms and your wedding party in, and your mums and your dads and your aunties, uncles, and everyone doing big thumbs up and pulling faces, and it creates that sense of urgency. And then it also then goes, because then it goes, and now chill. And now, right, you've had it, put your phones away, because you'll always try and get the sneaky one. But every time I've done that, no one, because they've got their pictures and they've actually listened to what I've said.
And I think everyone's sort of like chilled a little bit because it's diffused the tension.
I'm chuckling, going, that was funny. That was because it was just.
But the vibe does come from the bride and groom or the couple at the end of the day. It's on them, like, if they're involved and having fun with it, then they set the tone for the rest of it. So, love that.
And I hopefully am the vessel that carries it through.
Well, thank you very much for coming along today, Gemma. You know I always love to see you and just catch up with you because you're just such a positive vibe. And we were just saying, I'm sure there's a million other things that we wanted to cover, but we just get so excited about our jobs, don't we? I
always joke to couples and say I can talk when the cows come home, so it's sometimes hard to shut me up.
I'm sure we're going to go home and think, oh, we should have included this and this, but it's been such a lovely chat with you anyway. And if you're trying to find her on any of the socials, then it is at North East Celebrant. You can have a look, they can see all your wonderful reviews, they can chat with your couples and check out your Instagram and your sage green dress and all the other costumes that you've been wearing, of course. And there wasn't anything else that you wanted to say before you go? It was just, remember the ceremony can set the tone for the day. It doesn't have to be that tick box exercise. You can put thought, love, care and meaning into the ceremony and find somebody that will help you create that vision. Let's start making more of the ceremonies rather than just having them there. Just having them out of the way. Yeah, because it should be a joyous occasion. And celebrate your love. Yeah, and the rest of it, you're just going to have a drink afterwards. And exactly. So this is the bit you'll remember. This is the bit you'll remember before you start drinking. But, tick whichever boxes you choose to tick. So the inclusivity ones that, whatever you need to do, this is your day. Well, I absolutely love celebrants in general. I think more people should have them. So hopefully loads more couples book you anyway. And we will continue with our series of more celebrants very soon, so stay tuned.